Warrior, the stolen legacy of Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee didn't just change martial arts. He challenged who was allowed to be a hero. In 1971, during a rare television interview, Bruce Lee said he wanted to show the world the true Oriental. Not a sidekick. Not a caricature. A lead.
The true Oriental should be shown.
Hollywood sure as heck hasn't.
You better believe it, man. It's always that pigtail and bouncing around, chop, with the eyes slant and all that.
What most people don't know is that around that same time, Bruce was quietly developing what he believed would be his most important work, a television series about Chinese immigrants fighting to survive in the brutal American West. Hollywood said no. Then it took the idea anyway. This is the story of Warrior, the show Bruce Lee created, lost, and never lived to see. To understand Warrior, you have to understand Bruce Lee's anger, and where it came from. Bruce was born in San Francisco in 1940, then raised in Hong Kong. When he returned to America at 18, he felt like a foreigner in his own birthplace. Asian men in Hollywood were invisible, mocked, or reduced to servants. Bruce wasn't just frustrated, he was focused. By the early 1970s, Bruce Lee was already a phenomenon. But he wanted more than movie stardom. He wanted to tell a deeper story. In 1971, he wrote an 8-page treatment for a show he called The Warrior. It followed Sahm, a Chinese martial artist arriving in San Francisco during the 1870s, a time when Chinatown was controlled by violent Tong factions and Chinese immigrants were openly hunted. This wasn't fantasy. It was history. Anti-Chinese violence was spreading across California. Politicians were openly calling for exclusion, and just over a decade later, the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882 would become the first U.S. law to ban immigration based on race. Bruce wanted to show that reality, the blood, the corruption, the survival. Hollywood wasn't interested. Bruce pitched The Warrior to major studios, including Warner Brothers. Despite his fame, executives told him an Asian lead wouldn't sell to Middle America. The project was rejected.
There's a pretty good chance that you'll get a TV series in the States called The Warriors, in which you use what, the martial arts in a Western setting?
That was the original idea. Now, Paramount, I did Longstreet for Paramount, and Paramount wants me to be in a television series. On the other hand, Warner Brothers wants me to be in another one, but both of them, I think, they want me to be in a modernized type of a thing. And they think that Western idea is out.
But you want to do the Western, eh?
I want, because you see, how else can you justify all these punching and kicking and violence except in the period of the West? In nowadays, you don't go around on the street kicking people or punching people. Because if you do...
Yeah. Let me ask you, however, about the problems that you face as a Chinese hero in an American series. Have people come up in the industry and said, well, we don't know how the audience are going to take a non-American?
Well, such question has been raised. In fact, it is being discussed, and that is why The Warrior is not going to be on.
I see.
You see, because unfortunately, such thing does exist in this world, you see, like, I don't know, certain part of the country, right? Where, they think that business-wise, it's a risk.
Then, in 1972, Warner Brothers released Kung Fu, a show about a martial artist wandering the American West. The lead role went to David Carradine. The studio claimed coincidence. Bruce Lee didn't believe it. Neither did his family. Denied the chance to tell his story in America, Bruce returned to Hong Kong. There, he became the biggest movie star in the world almost overnight. The Big Boss, Fist of Fury, Way of the Dragon, each film was a declaration. But Bruce never stopped thinking about The Warrior. On July 20th, 1973, Bruce Lee died suddenly at the age of 32. His dream project went into a drawer. For decades, it became legend, whispered about, but never made. Until someone finally asked the right question. In 2015, director Justin Lin approached Bruce's daughter, Shannon Lee, and asked if the story was real. It was. What they found wasn't just a concept, it was Bruce Lee's voice on the page. Working with showrunner Jonathan Tropper, Shannon Lee set out to make the show her father couldn't. Not a tribute, but a fulfillment. They kept the setting, the tones, the politics, the rage. And they cast Andrew Koji as Sahm, not to imitate Bruce Lee, but to carry his spirit.
It's always been a story that I've known in my family, that my father had written this treatment, had pitched this show, was supposed to star in a show for Warner Brothers TV show, but was not cast because he was Chinese, and they didn't think that American audiences would accept that, and so...
When Warrior premiered in 2019, nearly 50 years after Bruce first wrote it, the message was clear. This story was never unmarketable. It was just ahead of its time. Warrior doesn't just deliver stunning action. It confronts xenophobia, identity, and power, themes Bruce Lee was fighting for long before Hollywood was ready to listen. Bruce Lee once said, "The key to immortality is first living a life worth remembering." Through Warrior, his voice finally reached the screen. The dragon's legacy was never stolen for good. It was only delayed.
Bruce was definitely a fighter, but he was underneath a very deep person rooted in philosophies that went back thousands of years. He was a very old soul come to visit us for a short time.